Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So, have you been wanting to learn how to expand and live in God's overflow in a very scientific way and methodical way? Well, many of you do not have the proper support to do so, to take your business to the next level of growth and expansion. Hold on, oh, Q, you're on here already. Okay, awesome. So, Cordera and I, she just jumped on, have decided to go live and allow you to be a fly on the wall on these high level conversations that we have all the time. So I am going to add her in here. I'm going to give it a few seconds to see if it will add you on your own. We have a good conversation coming up. Wait. Adding you in. Okay. So I was saying, have you been wanting to learn and expand in God's way, right? In God's overflow in a very scientific and methodical way? Hey, Shauna. Many of you do not have the proper support to take your business to the next level and so of growth and expansion. So Q and I decided a few weeks ago that we were going to come on here and have these high-level conversations that we usually have over the phone and bring them here to you. So we're going to have these conversations right here. Why is it saying you're unable to join? Let's try that again. So welcome. Happy Thursday. Yay, I'm so glad I can see you. That's why I was cleaning my phone up, because I was determined. I wanted to see a face today.
Hey girl, hey.
Hey. All right, so it's Thursday morning and we have a conversation that we want to bring to the masses, because it truly is something that we hear a lot, especially in the times that we're living in, right? That there's so much going on in the economy and how it's affecting your business. And so the conversation we're going to be having today is how to create your own economy, right? How you don't have to be reliant on what's happening out there on the news, what they're saying is happening, what's going on with the stock market. You don't have to be worried about any of that when you create your own economy. So we're going to dive into that today. Welcome, Yali. Hey. So we got Yali, we got Shauna. Okay. So Q, what do you think about that? When people say to you, oh, there's all these things and factors that are happening that are driving business down.
Well, first I want to start with defining or helping to understand what is an economy, because a lot of times, most times we're using words that we haven't actually taken the time to define or have
Okay.
a good understanding of. And perhaps we, have been using this vocabulary since we were in elementary school and we defined it back then. And so we kind of have just like context clues, but we don't really know.
Mm-hmm.
So using an AI overview of what an economy is before we continue the conversation, it says an economy is a system of production. That's super good word to know. An economy is a system of production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services within a specific area, like a country or community. Hold on, I need to write this down for the rest of the conversation. An economy is a system of production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services. Oh, this is so good. And services
This is
within
good.
within a specific area, like a country or a community. Now, that's the only part I'm going to write down. But then it also goes on to say it's a complex network of interconnected activities that determine how resources are allocated, what goods and services are valued, and how they are traded. That's even better. Essentially, an economy is how a society organizes itself to produce and share what it needs and what it wants. So, just looking at this short overview, there's more here, but the short overview, the title of this expansion conversation is creating your own economy. People are, saying that they're in difficult times. They don't know what's going on with the economy. So I think defining this or understanding what an economy is, what you should also understand, or what I am hearing and seeing pop out at me right now, is that the first economy you have is the economy of self. An economy is a system of production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services within a specific area, like a country or community. It's a complex network of activities that determine how resources are allocated, what goods and services are valued, and how they are traded. Essentially, an economy is how a society organizes itself. So the questions that pop up for me, Michelle, are like, what are your resources? How are you organizing yourself? And then how are you distributing these resources? Not just within yourself, but into the spheres of influence that we live in. So like, ourself, our whoever we live with, I'll say our family, our friendships, our relationships, our business, our community, our society, the world. How are you distributing those? What are you producing? What are you actually producing? What are you distributing? And then also, how are you consuming? So what I was hearing when I was first writing this down was, it sounds like it's basically an economy offers a system, a flow. So it just sounds like a flow, a distribution process. And while we kind of might know that, what happens is, just my opinions that I'm saying out loud, what happens is that I think when things like this are happening in the world, we get yoked because we forget where the flow comes from. And so for a while, because everything is moving in a certain flow, we tend to think like the flow comes from outside of us instead of inside of us. So when a part of that flow seems to be threatened, we forget that the flow came from us to begin with.
Okay. So we're talking about how a lot of times we'll feel that there's so much happening out in our outside environment that's affecting our business, right? And so we're talking about how we can create our own economies to where no matter what is going on in the world, you still are thriving. So Q just looked up the definition of economy, which was a really good definition. I don't think I took economics, but I don't even remember if they gave us it. They probably did.
They probably did.
This is a long time ago I took economics. Okay. But it's so good to hear it now in this context. And when I took economics, I wasn't thinking as an entrepreneur. So probably didn't even, stick in my brain. But to say that the economy is a system of production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services within a specific area, like a country or a community. So I think that community word um, hits closer to us small businesses because it's our
No,
surrounding.
no,
No?
we are not small businesses. To us,
To,
businesses.
okay, yes. Listen, she keeps telling me, don't call it small business because not everyone's small business. To us businesses, because all business is big business. But having the surrounding community supporting us. And we were having a conversation with someone who was saying, he had noticed a decline in business. And there were a number of factors on why. And, that just gets me thinking. That just gets me thinking. I think sometimes we have these downturns because sometimes you got to think outside of the box
Mm,
and start to think differently on how to approach things. So that's where my brain goes is, okay, this happened or this is happening. What can we do different to now create a different result, a better result? That's where
mm.
my mind goes. Why are you looking like that?
No, I'm with
Oh,
you.
okay, okay.
um, I also think where my mind goes first, but I wanted to define the word. I'm drinking this spicy turmeric and ginger and cayenne, so kind of got my throat a little bit. But my mind always goes first to somebody is winning somewhere. So why not you?
Mm-hmm.
And I always say that because that's how that Manifestor 7-day summit came about,
Mm.
where I really feel like things started to transform and snowball. However long ago, oh, that was pre-COVID, so like a month before COVID happened.
Yeah.
Or I probably shouldn't say that word, I don't know, I forget the social media rules. But a month before that pandemic happened, everyone that I could see on the internet and everywhere was going crazy because Donald Trump was about to come into office for the first time, and they were freaking out because of what they thought that meant for them. And they're like, oh my God, the economy is going to change and this is going to happen and that's going to happen. And while all of that might be true for you, it's important to recognize where you see lack and scarcity. It's important for you to go seek out and find abundance. So anytime there is something negative happening, there is always something positive happening. So Peter he's obsessed with, I've mentioned this several times now, but he's obsessed with this principle or law. Principle or law. It might be a principle, a law, or a theory. I don't remember, but I think it's the principle of countervalence.
Mm-hmm.
And countervalence talks about how there is always, like, basically yin and yang. So where there is a group of impoverished, there is a group of wealthy. Where there is 10 women struggling to find a man, there are 10 women who are overflowing with men who can't keep them off of them. Where there are 10 businesses who say nobody's buying from them, there are 10 businesses where they got so many people coming at them that they just can't keep they can't move fast enough, right? They got a waiting list. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's important for when we are feeling, when we're feeling those moments of lack, is the one of the most important assignments I've ever given my clients is to go find who it is working for. Go find someone who is doing exactly what you're doing, right? Or has, like, go find who it's working for. If you struggling to find a relationship, because way back when I used to have women telling me that, there's no good men out here, or I'm struggling in my relationship, go find some people who are not struggling, see what
Mm-hmm.
they're doing, because that's where you'll find, in regards to this topic, that's where you'll find how to create your own economy. That's how you will help your economy thrive. Because no matter what, no matter how much of a hard, dark place you might be in, there are people thriving. But because you're not seeking them out and getting out of that bubble of hardship, you tend to think that in that bubble of hardship, everybody's going through that bubble of hardship, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just not true.
It's so not true. Ask Napoleon Hill, who wrote, what was it? Think and Grow Rich. When did he write that
Mm-hmm.
book? I think it was like in the 1920s or
Mm.
1930s. And he talks about like, like all these billionaires today, they started in the Great Depression when
Mm.
everybody else was like, oh my gosh, so everything's crumbling around me. We have nothing. And they built empires during a season where most were like in distress. So if you haven't read that book yet and you're an entrepreneur, definitely suggest you read that book, because opportunity is everywhere. And listening to the masses is not going to, it's really going to mess up your mindset if you continue to listen to, oh this, oh that. Just, I love this advice of going to people that are doing what you do and are doing it really well and seeing what they're doing, because man, success leaves clues, right?
It
Success
does.
leaves
Yeah.
clues. And I love to do that. I love seeing people thriving in what I'm doing, because I'm like, oh, it gives you, I hope that it gives you hope that you can do it too. And that you
Mm.
don't use that in a negative way where you're like, oh, okay, no, there's more than enough room for everyone. Um, if they're doing it well, I'm sure there's more than enough room for you to do it well and more people to do it well too, and serve the communities that look up to you.
Mm.
So yeah, that was so good. That was so good. And Napoleon Hill's book is like touches all on this. I feel like we're in a time of a ton of opportunity.
But one of the things in the Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, not one thing. I think if I remember correctly, he has like 12 steps in the book, 12 things that you need to do in order